Everything was created by him. Everything.
Which means wherever there is a creation, there is a presence of God.
Yes.
So you talked about hell being the absence of God. Now we know that God is the source of all creation. Can anything exist outside the absence of the source of creation?
There can be an absence. God exists everywhere, but God is not present everywhere.
Okay, this evening in the service, you talked about hell being the absence
of God.
Now we know that God is the source of all creation. So I want to ask, can anything exist outside the source of creation?
There can be an absence.
Can anything exist outside the absence of the source of creation?
Everything was created by him. Everything.
Which means wherever there is a creation, there is a presence of God.
Yes.
So if it is so, how can something exist outside the source of all creation? And if God doesn't exist in hellfire, that means no one is in charge, no one is controlling.
So there's
these people build this to a paradise?
There's an existence of God and there's a presence of God. They are two different things. God exists everywhere, but God is not present everywhere. God is only present where he's invited. But that doesn't rule the fact that he exists everywhere. For him not to exist everywhere means he's not God. But it's one thing for him to exist everywhere. It's another thing for him to be present. His presence is what is absent in hell, not his existence. His presence. And when you say no to his presence, he will keep to himself. When you say yes to his presence, he will get involved in your life. So it's not existence, it's presence that is absent. That's why David will say, whither shall I flee from your presence? Even if I make my bed in hell, you are there. That's existence, but that's not presence.
Last question quickly. What God cannot do does not exist. What do you have to say about that?
There are many things that exist that God cannot do. Lies exist. The Bible says God cannot lie. Sin exists. The Bible says God cannot sin. Temptation exists. The Bible says God cannot be tempted. So there are many things that God cannot do. So that statement does not fall into sound doctrine.
Well, people of God, for what our God cannot do does not exist.
Of course, I am an NSPPD. I speak in tongues. Shakipata. What God cannot do.
Well, if you believe in what God cannot do does not exist, please, you've heard it from the mouth of Papa. And I thank you so much, sir, for this privilege. I would like to have this session once again. I have a lot of questions,
I'm here for you.
But I know you're a busy man.
Let's do another one.
Let's do it.
I enjoyed it myself.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.